Welcome to the deep dive. If you've ever booked a flight, maybe to Southeast Asia or Australia, and you see that mandatory layover and just think, oh no, 12 hours of airport lounge sadness, well, this deep dive is for you. We are talking about a massive, and I mean massive, travel game changer. China's newly expanded 240-hour visa-free transit protocol.
It really is a big deal.
Yeah, so we've gathered a bunch of sources, official policy releases, notes from travel analysts, even some first-hand accounts, to really get to the bottom of this. Our mission today is to give you the ultimate shortcut to using this policy. Basically, how to turn a required stop into, a potential 10-day business trip or even a mini vacation.
Exact.
So who's eligible? What are the exact rules? And maybe most importantly, what are the limits?
Well, it's a fundamental shift in travel logistics. The headline here is that if you're a traveler from one of 55 eligible countries, and we're talking big ones like the US, the UK, Canada, Japan, most of Europe.
Right.
You can now spend up to 240 hours, which is exactly 10 days, inside China, completely visa-free.
But there's a catch.
There is. The key, and you have to remember this, is that it's only for transiting to a third country. It lets you take a 10-day break mid-journey, all without the months of planning and the cost of a full visa.
I love that we're framing this around strategy. It's not just about, avoiding a visa fee. It's about optimizing an entire trip.
Totally.
240 hours. I mean, you could drop your bags, spend 5 days in Beijing doing business, another 5 sightseeing in Shanghai, and then hop on your flight to Tokyo.
That's the idea.
But let's get really clear on that transit rule. So if you fly from, say, Paris to Beijing, where does your next ticket have to be to?
It absolutely has to be to a different country than where you started.
So not back to Europe.
Exactly. Paris to Beijing, then Beijing to Tokyo. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Paris to Beijing, then back to, say, Germany or even France. That's a non-starter. Immigration will check that ticket immediately.
Okay, let's unpack this with a scenario because the details really matter here. Let's imagine a sales manager, we'll call her Sarah. She's flying from London to Bangkok.
Good example.
And she wants to stop in China for about a week to meet a potential client in Shenzhen. What does she need?
Okay, Sarah's a perfect test case. For her to use this 240-hour window, she needs 3 concrete things ready when she lands.
Okay, number 1.
First, the obvious one, a valid passport. And it has to be from one of those 55 approved nations.
Yep.
Second, that confirmed Onward flight ticket to Bangkok. And I mean confirmed. It has to show a fixed date and a confirmed seat. You can't just show up with a flexible reservation.
It has to be locked in.
Locked in. And third, and this is the one people sometimes overlook, is the entry point. You have to arrive at one of the 60 approved international ports.
60 ports. That sounds like a pretty big net, which is reassuring.
It is.
It means you're not just restricted to, the huge hubs. I know our sources confirm all the giants are on the list. Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Chengdu.
The big ones are there, yes.
But for a business traveler like Sarah, are there other useful ports?
Yeah, and that's the smart part of this policy. They want to encourage business outside of just those tier 1 cities. So you have places like Wuhan or Xin.
Where the Terracotta Army is.
That's the one. Or even smaller regional hubs. For Sarah, heading to Shenzhen, she could fly directly into Shenzhen Baoan International Airport. It's one of the designated ports. It cuts down on all that domestic travel time.
That is a key piece of strategy right there. So let's talk about the process when she lands. The policy says no extra paperwork, which sounds, almost too good to be true.
Well, that's where we need a bit of perspective. No extra paperwork means you don't submit an application before your flight.
Okay.
But when you land, there's definitely still a process. You need to look for the specific immigration line. It'll be marked 240-hour transit without visa or something similar.
So you fill out a form there.
You fill out an arrival card, yes.
Yeah.
And you present your passport and that onward ticket to the third country.
So it's not invisible, but it's a lot faster than applying for a full visa weeks in advance.
Exactly. It's an efficient process at the airport, usually just a few minutes, but you have to be ready. Have that ticket printed out or easily accessible on your phone. If you're fumbling for it, that's where you'll get delays.
Okay, so Sarah's in. She's cleared immigration in Shenzhen. Her 10-day clock is ticking. The big question, what can she actually do?
The permitted activities are actually pretty substantial. They really cater to both business and leisure.
What are they?
Okay, so first, pure tourism. Travel and exploration. You can go sightseeing anywhere you're allowed to go.
Great.
Second, business meetings or visiting partners. This is the key one for Sarah. And third, you can reconnect with family or friends.
And once you're in, are you just stuck in that one city?
Not at all. That's what's so fascinating. You're generally free to travel within the province you arrived in, and in some cases, you can even cross into neighboring provinces. You can see the Forbidden City in Beijing, check out the modern architecture in Shanghai.
I saw some sources even mentioned going to places like Guilin.
Exactly. For its famous mountains, the freedom of movement is surprisingly broad.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting for someone trying to maximize the trip. The boundaries.
Yeah.
You said Sarah can have business meetings.
Yes.
What if that meeting in Shenzhen goes so well that they offer her a short-term consulting gig right there for the 10 days she's in the country?
And that is the precise red line. It's so critical you understand this difference. The policy draws a very clear line between, let's say, preliminary business engagement meetings, negotiations, visiting a site.
Right? Signing contracts.
Signing non-employment contracts, yes. But that is completely different from actual work.
So what's not allowed?
The sources are explicit. 3 things are not allowed: work, study, and journalism. If Sarah takes that consulting gig and starts performing paid labor, even for a day, she's violating the terms. She'd need a full work visa for that.
So to be clear, flying in to negotiate a deal, visit a factory, sign a letter of intent, that's all fine. That's a business meeting. But if she's sitting at a desk, inputting data, doing specialized labor, that's work.
That is work, and it's not allowed. The same goes for education. You can't just pop in for a short language course that needs a student visa.
So what should she carry to be safe?
I'd recommend clear documentation, an invitation letter for the meetings, maybe an itinerary, and of course that confirmed ticket out to Bangkok. If an immigration officer asks, "What's your purpose here?" the answer has to be clean: business meetings, tourism, or visiting family.
That clarity is invaluable. Okay, let's zoom out a bit and look at who is actually eligible. 55 countries is a lot.
It is.
Let's start with the continent that just dominates this list.
It's clearly Europe. The strategy is really focused there.
Yeah.
40 of the 55 countries are European.
40. What?
Yeah, it's a massive gesture. You have all the big economic players: France, Germany, Italy, Spain, the UK. But they've also cast a really wide net across Eastern Europe and the Balkans, too.
Right. Our sources listed countries like Russia and Ukraine, and then a whole group of Balkan states: Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia, and Herzegovina, Montenegro.
It's very comprehensive. It ensures that pretty much any major European travel route is covered. It's basically an economic stimulus packaged as a transit policy.
Makes sense. Keep travelers in the country spending money for 10 days instead of just passing through an airport.
That's the logic.
Okay, moving beyond Europe, what about the Americas?
For the Americas, we've got 6 countries. It's a good spread. The USA and Canada in the north, Mexico, then Brazil, Argentina, and Chile in South America.
And for Oceania.
The 2 big ones, Australia and New Zealand.
And finally, Asia.
A really key group from Asia. 7 countries. You've got South Korea, Japan, Singapore, and Brunei, plus the UAE, Qatar, and Indonesia. All critical hubs for global transit and trade.
So basically, if you're a citizen of any of those 55 nations, you now have this incredibly powerful new tool for planning your travel. Let's just summarize the key takeaway here.
Okay, the core of it is this. You get a 240-hour, so 10-day visa-free stay. It's valid for tourism, business meetings, and family visits.
But only if you're in transit.
Only if you hold that confirmed onward ticket to a third country and you enter and exit through one of the 60 designated ports. It's a policy built for speed and really for strategic flexibility.
That summary really drives it home. This isn't just a minor tweak. This fundamentally changes how you can book complex, multi-stage international trips. It turns what was always a point of friction into a real opportunity.
It does.
And all without that heavy lift of a visa application.
Which brings up a final thought. We've talked about the strategic utility, the ability to conduct meetings or just take a real vacation mid-trip. So how does knowing this 10-day window exists change the calculus for you when you're choosing a flight? I mean, for a professional traveler, does routing your journey through a major Chinese hub like Shanghai or Chengdu now become the smart default? Does it let you combine an essential business stop with a trip you already had to take versus sticking with routes that always avoided the country? It really transforms transit planning into something proactive. It becomes a strategy